Asante. For me?
For you? Yes.
Okay. Nataka, as you ask one question for me, then as you be coming so that afunge na hata anaanza endelea.
The question is about, do you share Azimio concerns saying the report is imperfect and unfinished?
Well, what I would say is that there's no report that will have 100%, but we have started well. These are good strides. And I would say our prayer as Jubilee Party was first, we have a national dialogue. We are happy that even within the national dialogue, there were the 5 issues that were raised, but there are issues that also Kenyans brought. There are issues about judiciary. There are issues that we did not address even here now. Issues of inclusivity. There are many, many issues that have come out of this national dialogue. And I think this is the best way forward. And we are happy that even Azimio did not call for demonstrations. They have called for further consultation. We are very happy. And so for us, when people are not on the street, our people who are working will be able to go to work. Our people who are in business will be able to do business peacefully. And so that is our main concern. We want Kenya to be peaceful. Things are not good. But once people are given an environment that they can be able to work, somebody can go to work and come back home safely. There is nobody who is telling you to close your shop or vandalism. We are very happy with that. And so we say this is a one step, and we are trusting that this process will even be bigger and better in the future. Asante. SG.
Thank you. You know, my friend here is too political. It's a very good question. We have the report. We have the report. That report is going to be contextualized into a bill. This is the intent. You need to understand. This is the first stage. There's an agreement on the general platform. That is the intent on the report. That report now is going to be subjected to a further legal process. That legal process now is going to lead to a bill. That bill now is going to capture every aspect, whether it's going to be a constitutional amendment that requires a referendum, 2/3, or whether it's going to be an amendment to an existing statute, or an enactment to a new law, or even implementing through statutory instrument or through policy pronouncement, because those are the many sources of law. So I think that will clearly address the issue of whether there's going to be a conflict between the enactment of the office of the official opposition and the leader majority, leader majority and minority. Article 108 clearly spells out the role of the leader of minority and majority. But I think once that bill is ready, because you know, these are the stupid statements, in perspective, the role each will play. But you also need to understand the current constitution that we have is a blend, is a mixture of the Westminster model and a pure presidential system. And that's why we have been struggling over the years to see how we can, you know, create a niche, create an acceptable platform for all the users. That is why recently, through a standing order amendment, cabinet secretaries are now coming to the houses. There's still about, questions of what will happen the same. So I think all these issues are now being addressed. But I think the bit about it is, there's an agreement on the platform. The next stage is the implementation and contextualization. That is when the nitty-gritties, the legal technicalities actually will be addressed. So we wait for time. What we are emphasizing here is Jubilee. You see, we are the first party to go against. First, we are the 3rd largest party in the 13th parliament. That's undisputed. And right now, Jubilee is the 3rd parliamentary party in the National Assembly. And I think these two things mean two different things. And therefore, in the next report, this first report, there was a bit of confusion because of the challenges that we had, internal challenges that we have had. In the actualization of this report, whether it is through a parliamentary process or through other means, Jubilee must be an integral part of that particular process. So right now we are saying, because we are the first group to say, no mandamando, let us negotiate, we are happy that this particular process that we have rooted for, dialogue, has now given us this good report, and we pray that all those who are still yapping around other processes will come back to their senses and say, Kenya is bigger than all of us. And the last bit is, we are seated here, pursuant to Article 1 of the Constitution. Article 1 of the Constitution, as read with Article 96, clearly exemplifies the role of the elected representative and even equates it to sovereignty. So these are the representative, the true representative of the people of Kenya, elected representative of Jubilee. Those other shenanigans that you see around are busybodies who only represent their stomach. And therefore, henceforth, and the other Jubilee structures here, represent the will of the people. And I hope that when you see them yapping around, make sure they're looking for that daily bread, and that has nothing to do with Jubilee.
Back to the question.
Yes.
The question was, party leader.
Yes.
Because it is clear with the recommendations of the report, a referendum is inevitable. It is clear. If you have to entrench the state officers that we are seeing.
Yes.
Then as a party, what is your position on when this referendum should be done?
Well, on when it will depend with the process, because the process might take a long time, but we also appreciate that the cost of living is a reality. This might not be the best time, and so we are going to consult further. But for now, with the current cost of living, of course the referendum is not recommended now. Though we appreciate it's going to be a process, and we are open to that kind of negotiations to see how it's going to be done. But for the current position as it is, referendum is not recommended now. Thank you.
Yeah, I was just arising to address the matter that you asked concerning whether this is the right time for a referendum. As a political party and as the third largest party in the National Assembly, we are aware that the current economic situation does not allow for a referendum, and that Kenyans are focused on the cost of living, and also the president and all other players in both political and also economically speaking. This may not be the right time. So as a party, we are willing to engage other players as a third largest force, but we have a feeling, and it's a matter that we have discussed, that this may not be the right time for a referendum because Kenyans are focusing on the cost of living. Thank you.
So we want somebody to speak, Honorable Sarah Korea, just to say a summary in Swahili.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Wangwana tunasema hapa kama chama cha Jubilee ambayo ni chama cha tatu kubwa katika bunge, na sio kubwa tu. Ukitazama sura ya chama cha Jubilee utaona sura ya Kenya, kutoka pwani hadi bonde la ufa, kutoka mashariki hadi magharibi, kutoka kusini hadi kaskazini, wote tumewakilishwa. Utapata pia hapa tuko na wafugaji, tuko na wakulima, tuko na wakusanyaji na wawindaji. Kwa hivyo ni chama ambaye imebeba kila mtu. Tuko na walio wachache na walio wengi katika taifa la Kenya. Na swala ambalo linatufurahisha kama chama cha Jubilee ni kwamba tuliweza kuweka katika memorandum yetu masuala ya hali ya maisha ilivyo kwa Wakenya sasa hivi. Na baadhi ya neno ambayo